Let me preface this by saying I'm not a gacha gamer anymore. I played Genshin on and off until the Sumeru like desert update, and then I stopped playing after that. And Wuthering Waves, I did play Wuthering Waves when it dropped. Took over like my entire summer that year, and that was the last that I played it. And those were the only two games that I really like. Those were the only two like gacha games that I really like spent time in and actually like played. But yeah, what I wanted to talk about today was, well, let me tell you the reason why I stopped playing the games first. The reason why I stopped playing the games was because I saw, I was like, hey, I really like the game, I really like the gameplay, but I really hate the presentation of the content. I really hate how it's being drip fed. And so I was like, okay, I'll just come back, 7 years later, whenever Snezhnaya drops or Kanria or like whatever like the final region is in Genshin, and then I'm just gonna play like everything, and just gonna play everything through whenever that drops. And that really got me thinking, what is gonna happen when these modern gacha games like reach like the end of their service? Because I like to, so for me, there's two types of gacha games. There's the old type of gacha games and the new types of gacha games. So the old type of gacha games are like the ones on like the mobile that have like autoplay, and like they don't really like have a lot of gameplay, and it's really just mainly like centered around like collecting like the gacha. And then you have like these new modern gacha games that Hoyoverse pioneered, which is like these open world or semi-open world, like very like gameplay focused like gacha games, like with rich worlds and like build variety, and like all these like new like Genshin, Wuthering Waves, Honkai Star Rail, like all these like modern gacha games. That's like what I consider to be like a modern gacha game. And so like it got me thinking, like, what's gonna happen to these games when they reach the end of their service? And I feel like that's a valid question, because you might say like it's a live service, and so when a live service ends, they just shut down the game or like whatever. But I feel like gacha games are kind of different, because when you think of like a successful live service game outside of the gacha genre, you could say like Counter-Strike 2, no, not Counter, yeah, CS:GO. You could say World of Warcraft, League of Legends, Marvel Rivals, and stuff like that. What you see is that these games, they kind of have like, they like multiplayer is ingrained in like the gameplay philosophy, and the gameplay philosophy. So when they reach end of service, their only choice is to really shut down the game, because like it's literally like built on multiplayer. And so if they don't shut down the game, like they're gonna have to keep the servers running, and if they don't want to keep the servers running, they're gonna have to shut down the game. And if they shut down the game, there can't really be like an online like version, because the game is built on multiplayer. And so when you shut down the game and you can still log in, it's just gonna be like a shell of itself. Like you can't really do anything, right? And like the difference between like a regular live service game and like these modern gacha games is like, these modern gacha games are focused on delivering like a robust single player experience. That's like what I've noticed. And like, yeah, like Genshin might have like this multiplayer aspect where you can like raid like the dungeons like together, but you can really just do that solo. And like the story mode is completely solo. Like its foundation is on a single player experience. At least like the games that I'm thinking of are like foundationally like a single player experience. And so that's why I believe like we can really have a conversation about the end of service for like these gacha games, these live service games. What the oh my god, is that a Supra? You can really just say like, oh, they'll shut the game down and like that's the end of the story. But like, come on, like there has to be like a way where you can really where you can, I don't know, where you can like, where you can preserve the game, you know, because like if you strip out the gacha from like these modern games, you actually like have a solid game. Like if you strip out the gacha from Genshin Impact, you still have an open world, like this giant one, like really cool like open world you can explore. There's like multiple regions. There's like a pretty like deep like combat system with like, you know, the fusion system and like the elemental like fusion system and all that. And like there's a lot of build variety. And yeah, like we could like I get that like endgame is like a huge problem, but like I'm not talking about endgame, but like just like the gameplay in general. Like you have like a solid game if you remove all the online and all the gacha out of like Genshin Impact. And so what I'm saying is like, I mean, ideally what I would want for these games to end up being is just be like bundled together and like just dropped as a single player game for like a set amount of price whenever they reach end of service. And like obviously with all like the gacha stripped out and all the, you know, like server connections and all that stuff stripped out, and all the characters and also all the characters unlocked, obviously, you know what I'm saying, come on now. But that's in an ideal world, obviously. If we were talking about reality, miHoYo, like, or Hoyoverse, sorry, you know, the moment that Genshin is not making a profit, they're probably gonna shut down the game and act like it never existed. Probably, right? But you know, there's that aspect too. Like it's what was I gonna say? Shit. You know, but also like there's that aspect too. Like, are these games ever gonna not make profit? Because I'm also thinking about like the longevity of, you know, live service games. And like, sure, like these gacha games are relatively recent. Like these modern ones are like relatively recent, so we can't really say like what the long term what the gacha scene is going to be like long term. But for live service games in general, like there's some live service games that have went on for like and are still going on for pretty long. Like the longest one I can think of right now is WoW. I believe WoW dropped in like 2000, like early 2000s, like 2002 or 4, like whatever, like around that time. And it's still going strong, and it still has like a strong community. And so like these modern gacha games might just be like the new WoW, and like might just keep going like basically forever. I don't know, like as long as they turn a profit, right? Yeah, but it's still like an interesting thing to think about, because like I genuinely like I really do like Genshin. And I unironically think Genshin has like one of the greatest video game soundtracks of all time, at least when Yu Peng Chen was around. And so like I really like, yeah, sometimes I just like think about it, like what is gonna happen like in the end. Like, are they just gonna keep it going forever? Are they gonna like go past Teyvat like and start like a new chapter like in another world or like whatever, and like just keep it going as long as it like turns a profit? Yeah, it's just like something that's always on my mind sometimes. What do you guys think though? I'd love to hear like your thoughts on like the comments. And I mean, yeah, that's about it.